follow-up presentation on what I talked about at Black Hole. First of all, thank you Black Hole for putting up my video on your channel separately. I was really happy about that, and I think it was a really interesting topic, so it's worth to give it some more detail.
Yes, Kavita, it was very exciting that the Black Hole decided to put a separate clip on that, and all our friends and people who know you are very proud of you that you were able to carry that discussion. So well done.
So, are robots just code or something more? That's the title of my presentation. I am going to be talking about consciousness in my presentation, but I'm also going to be talking more on how can AI possibly be consciousness, my own opinion, and what scientists are thinking about it. So first topic, what is consciousness and where in the brain do we find it? Consciousness is the ability to be aware of yourself and the world around you, including your thoughts, feelings, and sensations. It comes from the brain, where different areas work together to create this awareness. The cortex, especially the front part called the prefrontal cortex, helps with thinking, self-awareness. The posterior cortex processes information from our senses like sight and sound. The thalamus acts like a communication hub, sending signals between brain areas and helping us focus. Consciousness isn't caused by just one part of the brain, but many parts working together. Even though scientists don't know these brain areas are important, they still don't fully understand how physical brain activity produces the personal experience of being conscious and emotions, feelings. This is called the hard problem of consciousness. Now I'm going to talk about what scientists don't understand about consciousness and the brain yet. Scientists know which brain parts are active during consciousness, but they still don't understand how this activity creates the experience of being aware, as mentioned with the hard problem. They can measure brain signals, but don't know why thinking and feeling actually feels like something inside. It's also unclear how different brain areas combine their work into one unified conscious experience. Scientists study changes in consciousness during sleep, coma, and dreams, but don't fully understand what causes these shifts. While many animals show emotions and behaviors suggesting they are conscious, scientists are still exploring how their awareness compares to humans. Lastly, it's unknown if machines could ever be truly conscious, or if consciousness needs biology and emotions. Now, the big question: can AI become conscious? AI today can process information and answer questions, but don't have feelings or true awareness like humans do. Some scientists believe that if AI becomes complex enough to process information like the human brain, it might develop consciousness. This idea is called functionalism. However, others argue that AI can't be truly conscious because it lacks a body, emotions, and real experiences. Consciousness might require more than just data and programming. It may need self-awareness and feelings. Right now, AI can talk about itself, but doesn't actually know it exists. Whether machines can ever be conscious is still a big question. Now, lastly, one of the questions that Dr. Pervez asked me is that, what does it mean to be alive? And I said, to be alive, you have to have the 7 characteristics of life. So here I'm going to talk about that in a little bit more detail. So the 7 characteristics of life. All living things share certain important features that show they are alive. These features help organisms grow, use energy, and react to what's around them. They also allow living things to make new life, keep their bodies balanced, and change over time to survive better. Together, these characteristics show how life works and what makes something alive. Now I'm going to list them. Growth, increase in size or development. Response to stimuli, reacting to environmental changes. Energy use, using energy to carry out life processes. Reproduction, producing offspring. Homeostasis, maintaining stable internal conditions. Cellular organization, made up of one or more cells. And finally, adaptation, changing over generations to survive. That's the end of my presentation. Now we're going to have a little Q&A session.
Okay, Kavita, thank you for that. One of the characteristics you said is part of life is being able to grow.
Yes.
So growth is part of it?
Growth is a characteristic of life, to start out small and then keep growing and evolving and changing.
So with that, do computers grow? Does AI grow?
I think that's a good question. Physically, AI doesn't grow, and AI doesn't need nutrition or it's not alive. AI does not have the same characteristics of life.
But we can
can't
add computers.
reproduce.
We can add computers, and then make a network. You know that's what networking is, right? One computer can talk to another computer.
Yes.
And we can increase the size of a computer by adding more memory, adding more storage space, and keep adding to it. So is that growth?
You could say it's growth, but we are doing that to it. It can't grow on its own. Computers don't grow over time. One way you can look at it is that computers are constantly obtaining new knowledge. So they are growing in terms of knowledge and how much information they have.
Exactly.
Their information is growing. They're learning new things from videos, things we ask them in this chat GPT and all these new platforms. We are feeding them information. So yes, in a way, AI computers are growing.
Yeah, they say that AI has managed to develop in this past few years because of all the learning that they're doing on our behalf. They're saying that tech platforms, Facebook and Google, they have been taking our information and feeding it constantly, so that by all this knowledge and information, AI has managed to grow for free. So you don't agree that it's the same thing as biological growth?
No, I don't think it's the same thing as biological growth. But then again, the word growth can be used in so many different ways. So many different things, so many different people, animals, plants, even objects or things that aren't life, they grow.
One of the things you talked about in your presentation was about being aware, self-aware,
Yes.
right?
Self-awareness is still something that scientists don't understand about consciousness, how to create the personal experience of being self-aware, of knowing that you are a being on this planet. We know where it is and which parts of the brain make it happen, but we don't know how the feelings and emotions and pain or joy or these feelings of being aware happen.
Do you think animals are aware? And another
So-
word for it is, I think, sentient. To be sentient means to be aware of one's existence, that we exist. So do you think animals are? Have you read anything or known anything about it?
Yes.
And that means the non-human species. Is any other species sentient?
Yes. So, when I was reading up about about this, how one big part of being conscious is having emotions and feelings, I thought, hey, animals are also very much like that. Animals have a lot of emotions. So I searched that up, and actually it is true. Scientists do now believe that some animals are conscious, and they are still figuring out how it connects to human consciousness and how much it's alike. But some scientists do believe that animals are conscious.
Which ones?
Dolphins.
Yep, that's what I've. That's that. Yeah, everyone agrees on that. I
Elephants.
think elephants. Yeah.
Yes. Parrots. Some parrots are very, very smart. So yeah.
They say that some animals or many animals have social structure, and they live in an organized way. They have family groups, they have social groups, and that's how they are. And they also have a lot of emotions when it comes to their families. Like elephants apparently mourn. They mourn when one of them dies. They exhibit grief. So what do you think about that? And what do you think it means to live in a social structure? What do you think that means?
I think that it's true, and I think that elephants and dolphins and these animals should be considered sentient, because the way they react to certain activities and the way they are, so I think it might be true that how some scientists are saying that animals are conscious and that they are sentient like humans. They might be needing some more research on this and to figure out more about this, but I agree with it personally. And
What's the social structure you think?
Honestly, I don't know, but I'm gonna
Take a guess, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a guess. I think maybe social structure. Well, I don't think animals.
Okay, so what's a social structure? What do you think it is?
Well, in humans, I know what a social structure is. There is a hierarchy. There are people who are below. There are people who are higher. People in between. But I don't think that really happens in animals because they don't have money. They don't really. They focus on food, but money isn't a problem. Money is a problem in the human world, but not in the animal world. Food is a problem. Food is something that animals fight over.
So there are social structures and hierarchies. You know about the queen bee? Do you know about the pride of lions? And chimpanzees apparently have a very complex social structure. That's why Jane Goodall became so well known about her study of chimpanzees. The social structure is not just about money, but not just even about food, but about somebody being at the top or few being at the top. And it's a power thing, power struggle. And also biological, like who's gonna have the most children, who's gonna be the person at the top. They have social structures and hierarchies. So if we apply that, what do you think about that in computers?
Yeah.
Is there a big boss computer who's
Well,
trying to get in control all the other computers?
no, there actually is. Because you know how this is my computer, you're recording with the phone. There must be a power source, or like the computer of the country or the city, but there is one power source, which is one computer which controls everything. And it's like that on the whole world. There's one computer for this country or the city that controls everything. And if that computer fails, then everything else is going to fail. Or am I wrong? Not like a literal computer, but a power source.
Oh, good. No, I don't think it's exactly the same thing. No. And plus, as you said, it's humans which set up the structure
Yes.
of a computer. So it's not really the same thing. Okay, so very interesting. You and I watch a lot of movies, sci-fi movies. Do you think what they show in the sci-fi movies about, you know,
AI taking over?
do you think that could ever happen?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah,
Not-
yeah, it could.
exactly how they show it in movies, like robots going crazy,
Matrix,
like The Matrix.
Terminator.
But I think it could be possible because AI is just getting smarter and smarter. It may not be conscious yet. It may not know of its own existence yet and be able to make its own actions and do things on its own will. But it could happen because how we know AI could become conscious at one day. That could also happen one day. It could learn to do things on its own, do things at its own will without having to be programmed by a human. I mean, who knows? Maybe there'll be one day when computers are programming themselves.
Interesting. Okay, and the final thought is going to be free will. It's a very biblical, Quranic, Abrahamic notion that God gave free will to humans. And that's why it's going to be held accountable for its actions, good or bad, right? So, free will is something which humans think that they have. So, I want you to think about it over the next few days and think about how it applies to life, the way we understand biology of life, and even to computers and AI. Is it something which we can actually think about in a scientific and cultural way? Like, what is free will and how it applies to all the things we were talking about?
Okay.
Any last thoughts?
I'm really glad I did this presentation because I think it taught me a lot of more things about AI, consciousness, the brain, animals, and and it might even need some more digging in.
Yeah. Evolution.
Evolution. And
Life evolved. So, and some brains are more primitive than other advanced. So, a lot of stuff to think about. Let's keep talking about it.
Yes.
Okay, then.
Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.